Hi, my name is Shirley.
And I'm Brandy.
And welcome back to Unspoken Transitions, where we talk about the nuances of adulthood and the challenges that we face. So today, we'll be talking about the difficulty and confusion around careers and expectations growing up and everything. We know a lot of people graduated college or high school or just in the next steps of their lives, so we definitely want to share our experience and how we navigated them and just like the struggle in general. So for those, we can start with people that graduated and maybe they've been in the first year of career and they're just a little bit confused, and talk about the being stuck in the same place forever. So have you ever felt like you were going to be stuck in the same job, same situation forever?
I've never felt like I was going to be stuck in the same job, because I feel like when I got out I was so young and I was so open to so many opportunities. But I have heard people that are older feel like that, and I feel like now that I'm a little bit older and have been out of school for a while, a lot of people that I know are kind of feeling those sentiments that I don't think they were feeling when they were 21 and just graduated college, because it just seems like the world is your oyster when you first graduate, and then reality sits in with the monotony or just the application process. It's been really tough for people to find jobs, especially post-COVID and everything too. So it makes people feel as though they're stuck because, oh wait, now I have bills, now I have an apartment, maybe I have kids, or all these other goals that when you were 21 you didn't really have. And I would say to people graduating too is don't feel like you have to jump into the box of work. I know a lot of people who say, I'm gonna go travel Europe for a month or do something. That is the perfect time to do it. You don't have many real responsibilities. Take advantage of that time. So
yes.
But what about you?
I think similarly, yes, we've been a couple years out of school too. I think now I'm starting to feel like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do, because I've been stuck in the same place. I feel like I might be stuck in the same place forever, and the reason why is because I think growing up I've always had a plan. At 18 I had a plan, at 21 I had a plan, 22 I had a plan, and then since last year I've kind of been I reached this goal a lot quicker than I thought. So what's next? And no matter how much I try to rack my brain and try to figure it out, it's not working. And for me personally, my stressor is just if I don't do anything or if I don't make plans, then I'm gonna be stuck in this spot forever. If I don't make the plan. So it's I don't have a plan. I don't really know what to do next or anything, how to elevate and everything. That's the first time in my life that I've been there. So personally, I feel like there's a fear I'll be in the same spot forever, but also it's reassuring that I've never been in the same spot forever, or for an extended period of time. And also I'm conscious of it. I'm not just going through the monotony and just getting through every single day and not thinking about anything. But I do agree that in terms of bills and stuff like that, I do think that it's tough for me to say this because I'm out of my parents' place, but if you can, if it's healthy mentally and stuff like that, where you're not paying bills, you're not paying, I know TikTok has this funny thing where they're just you're not paying for the bills and money, but you're paying it with your mental health. But if it's bad, definitely leave. Yes, just leave and everything. But if you can hold out a little bit, yes, independence, having your own place and stuff like that is great. And at the same time too, if you're not in a spot where you can fully be in it and pay the bills comfortably to some extent, where you have a little bit of money left over, then I suggest you kind of just stay. But again, I understand how that's hard to say, because I know what it's like being in a strict household. I know what it's like to be 23 and still asking to go to the corner store. It's ridiculous. Or not try. It's a whole thing. But if you can hold out so you can save money, I definitely recommend you doing that. And again, like Randy said, explore your freedom. Travel before the bills and monotony and stuff like that come in. Travel 100%. Try things you've never tried before. Adulthood will always be here no matter what. You're always gonna reach a point where you pay bills. You're always gonna reach a point where you have to get a place to stay. You're always gonna have that, and it's just waiting for you. Honestly, you're just gonna get there at some point. It's waiting for you. It doesn't stop. So ultimately, just take your time with life. Life is not going anywhere. I know we talked a little bit in the previous episode about milestones and people feel by 25 I need to accomplish X, and I think that's a lot of pressure that our society puts on ourselves, and we kind of think of ourselves as failures if we're not in X point by a specific age. So I say get rid of that. Like, just kind of put that to the side, because if you think about even Oprah, right? She was not making that much money. She got like, she wasn't getting hired for like her reporter job or whatever she was. All these things were happening, and then at like what, 31, 32, she started making like her money, or started her show and everything. So if she was going according to society's standards, she would be a failure like at this current point. So all I'm trying to say is explore, live your life. We're all learning about ourselves, our goals, what we like, what we don't like. We're changing as people. So if you just graduated school and you don't feel like what you are going to do is what you want to do the rest of your life, it's okay. Don't be discouraged. Go back to school, go travel, try a new career. You don't have to have this like set step of thing. Yes, like you don't have to do that. Just take your time with life. The world is your oyster, like literally, and do what you can in the moment to set yourself where you want to be, not in like comparison with other people and where they are and what society says. I know it's tough, but the earlier you wrap your brain around that, the happier you will be in life, essentially.
And I know that sounds so cliche, but it's so true. Being on the older end of it, it's so true. Everyone is going to be in a different stage. When you graduate, some people are going to be engaged, some people are going to be married, some people are going to have a 6-figure job right out of college, and some people are going to go back home and live with their parents. Some people are going to, you know, have roommates or move out of the country. It's okay to be where you are, and I would suggest people to embrace it and just take it day by day. Like you said, it's so easy for you to think ahead and be like, okay, you know, and not satisfied in the moment. I think that's so hard, to be satisfied with where you are in the moment and be okay with it and be grateful for it, because we're always looking forward to the next step or the next thing, and that's not a healthy way to live either.
True. It's not healthy to, and I think it took me up until like the past year or two for me to not, oh, what's the next thing, what's the next thing, what's the next, like what am I gonna do next, when I'm gonna be out of the situation, it's just like you never like truly appreciate it, because like yes, like my parents were strict and everything, and like they had these like troubles, but why did it take me until moving out and paying bills and doing all these things? Now I'm just like, oh wow, like I genuinely just woke up, my grandma cooked me food, and then that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like I just left and did whatever I wanted.
But so simple.
Yeah, life was so simple. And don't get me wrong, like I love having my own place. Like I love like being married and everything, but I truly wish I relished in the fact that like, okay, I'm leaving at my parents' place. Yes, I plan on leaving soon, but let me enjoy me waking up and my grandma making food. Let me enjoy her singing her song at 8 a.m. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me enjoy like being able to walk into my parents' room when like I'm not gonna be able to do that now. Now I'm far. It's like it takes an extra effort. Like, let me enjoy like my brother popping in, or us just being able to go out, or my friends being like really close by and stuff like that. But because I was in such a rush, now I'm just like, oh, like I didn't appreciate the time because I was just so stressed to like have my own place and move out and just like live life. And I'm just like, yeah, but life was always gonna be there, and I should have just like enjoyed the moment. And I think being present is also just important in a society that tells us to keep going, because come on, like you're struggling with something in the moment, but last year you're not really thinking of all the hard times, you're thinking of all the good memories and everything, like, oh yeah, I remember that, I think that was fun. So the point of being present, I think, is really important too, because life is gonna pass you by, and if you don't sit and like, you know, smell the roses, as cliche as that sounds, if you don't stop and like appreciate where you are, it's gonna be gone, and you're gonna be like, wow, like I really wish I like held on to it. So
that's something too. If I ever had to go back in time, I wouldn't like change anything. I would just sit and be more mindful of the present. Because sometimes I do miss it. Sometimes there are seasons of my life where in the moment, like you said, it seems so bad, and then looking back, I'm like, there were so many pockets of peace or joy that I could have just relished in more.
Exactly. Yeah. And I feel like that is tough, because when you're in the moment of the difficult stuff, it's hard for you to think, you're just like, I want to get out of this, like I just want to get out of this. But it's just like, okay, I was stressed senior year of college about what, finals coming up or something. I was like, oh my gosh, the finals are coming up, and like I'm just so stressed. And it's just like, yes, finals come and go, that's like an hour of your life. Like you didn't need to you didn't need to stress the whole semester about this, or the whole week about this, or just being in the mindset, I need to graduate, it's like, all right, you're going to graduate, and now what? Like you should have appreciated college and like the free time, because you're never going to get that free time in college. Those who are going to college, you will never get as much free time
as you do in college.
Never.
And I used to think I was so busy going to classes and working, and I thought I was so tired.
Yeah,
I know tired now.
No,
I know
for
tired
real.
now for sure.
Yeah, because I was just like, I'm on top of the world. I'm taking 6 classes. I'm in charge of a student group. I'm like, you know, like I was like, I'm the master of time management. And then I went to grad school and I was just like, you know,
wake up call.
No, literally it was a whole wake up call, because they were like, oh, you're taking 3 classes. I was like, wow, I took 6. Like, this is gonna be a brief. No, it was its own beast. And you know what? Let's touch on grad school a little bit.
Okay.
I know I've been seeing TikToks and people and stuff like that. A lot of people are just graduating undergrad and then they just go straight to grad school, not because they're confident in what they're doing, but just because they're like, I'm not ready for the real world, so I'm just gonna get more school just to, like, you know, push this back a little bit.
I can see that 100%.
Did you have those feelings? Like, what are your thoughts around that?
It wasn't that I didn't want to deal with the real world. For me, it was more so of what I chose to study. I knew that I at least needed a master's to be able to do something, and also pressure from my family, a good pressure too, I think. But you know, my parents had told me even before I went to grad school, like, you know, you have to get at least a master's, right? Or a but the expectation is like a doctorate, but master's at least. Minimum. The bachelor's is not going to be enough. So I kind of knew that going into my undergrad. I always knew that I wanted to do that, but I think the decision was taking a gap year versus going straight in. I did decide to go straight in, and I don't regret it. I don't regret it, because I was working a graduate assistantship at my school, so I feel like that made it easier instead of working a full-time job elsewhere and then trying to work with school, because I feel like they were more accommodating of that. But I don't regret it. I say push through. If you can, just go straight through. Yeah. Because it'll be over before you know it. And when you take a gap from school, it's a lot harder to come back, because once you start making money, you're like, do I really need to go back? Or is it really worth it? I don't miss those papers. I don't miss those professors. So if you can, just go straight in and just finish it. That's what you did too. Yeah. I went straight in and just, like, I didn't take a gap year because I know myself. Like, I get lazy very quickly. Like, similar to what you said, if I was starting to make money, even though it wasn't, like, you know, 6 figures or whatever, I was making money. And grad
like,
school who?
Yeah, like, literally, like, grad school what? And then I'll go back to making 12 an hour. No. Like, 10 hours a week, I would have been sick. Like, it would have been really bad. So, like, legit, I think going straight through worked better for me. Like, just, like, getting it done and over with. Because by the time I graduated, I was just like, yeah, I could not have taken a break and come back to this. Like, I would have never done it. It just wouldn't have happened for me. Like, I probably wouldn't have gotten my master's. But also, I still encourage the reason. Okay, if you know what you're doing and you're passionate about what you're doing, and you know this is something that you're interested in and you want to do long term, go to grad school right after. Like, 100% go to grad school right after. But if you're not sure what you're doing, and it's kind of from a place of fear, and you're just like, I just want the degree to get the degree. For undergrad, I say play around. Get an English degree, get a business degree, just get any bachelor's, because the most jobs just ask for a bachelor's. But the grad school, a master's degree is so specified. Do not go to graduate school if you are not passionate about that specific area, or you don't see what you want to do long term, like what you want to do. Because most people go back to get a specialization, to like, you know, get a promotion, or like to move forward in their career. So you just getting it as a checkbox. What now, like, you're 2 years into whatever job, and now you realize, oh, I'm passionate about something else. Guess what? You're gonna go back, and now you gotta restart. You know what I'm saying? For masters, it's not. For bachelor's degree, it's like, okay, get a bachelor's, just get a bachelor's, whatever. For master's degree, it's not as flexible. So if you go and you get it in something you're not necessarily passionate in, and then you find your passion, you're gonna have to go back. Like, you can't, like, a student affairs degree and a social work degree are day and night. Like, it's not the same thing. I would
argue that, though.
Really?
I would argue that, because I had that experience where I did get my master's in counseling psych, and I thought that's what I was gonna do. And, you know, being in the field, I just realized long term this isn't gonna be sustainable for me.
Okay.
So, but there was some overlap. I think, for example, if you have like a media degree and you're trying to do counseling, I feel like that would be the swap, right? But if you have a degree, like a counseling degree or a social work degree, that can be transferable to so many things.
That's real.
So for me, I was able to transfer it to something different. But at the same time too, I agree with you in some sense, because a lot of jobs you need at least a master's.
Yeah.
Jobs that have a bachelor's degree as the required, I'm gonna be honest with you, they're hiring a lot of master's level people. Like the master's is the new bachelor's in the world.
It's sad.
Of work. And so if you do want to figure out what you want to do, I would say try and figure it out quick. Try and, you know, and I think a good opportunity is when you're an undergrad, take advantage of internship opportunities and job opportunities so that you know what you want to do.
Yes.
Straight out of college, because at that, I feel like when you're 18 you don't know as much of what you want to do as opposed to when you're 21. By 21 I feel like you should have a better sense.
Yes, 100%.
Or try to have a better sense.
100%. I think the internship aspect, if you're in high school going to college, I definitely say do an internship or multiple internship, or if you're at a school that does co-ops, highly recommend it. Like definitely do it. But I agree, because I thought I wanted to be a high school teacher at some point. God knows why. I don't know why she wanted to.
Wait, you did?
I wanted to be a high school teacher. I went to
that makes so much sense.
Like it's a hot mess. I started because Bridgewater is a education teaching school and stuff like that. So I went to teach high school. I was like, all right, I'm gonna teach high school. And then I took a class, and then I was like, oh, I don't really want to do this. And on top of that, they had to take like there's a test, there's multiple of them. I can't remember it for the life of me, but you have to take this test. I am a terrible test taker. I am a terrible test taker, and they were like, and even like the people who are good at tests were like, yeah, I failed this 3 times and I need to take it again. And the way Bridgewater was set up is if you don't pass that test, you can't take a next set of classes. So you can be stuck. Like there was someone I was talking to, they were there for like 7 years trying to like pass the test to move on to the next set of courses. And I was like, absolutely not, I'm not doing that. Like I was a freshman, like spring, I was just like, no, I need to pick another career. So well, I was like, I can't do that. So I decided, because I just did teaching and I'm not even gonna go there, but I was like, let me do an internship, right? And I discovered what public relations was. I was like, oh my gosh, like this looks so much fun, like let me do public relations. So I did an internship, and I was like, no. I was like, absolutely, it was so boring. I was like, I want more like face-to-face. I want more like interactions and stuff like that, which made me pivot to student affairs. And after that, I did student affairs, and I was like, this is great, but I don't know if it's because I'm older now, closer to my 30s. I was like, this is a lot of face-to-face. I don't know if I can deal with this like long-term. What do I want to do? So now I am in operations. Please see, this is what I'm saying. Like
you gotta figure out what you want to do. But that's so funny, because I actually went into undergrad wanting to teach psychology in high school.
Oh really?
And I thought that they had a secondary education degree, and when I got there they said we don't have that anymore. And I said, oh. That's why I came here.
That's
so
crazy.
Yeah, then I had to figure out another major.
Oh my gosh.
Or minor or whatever.
I would have been upset.
I was like, I'm already in this. Already enrolled, you know.
Wait, what did you go to undergrad for?
Psychology, social work, and communications.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
So I was never doing social work originally.
Okay.
But I was like, you know what? I need to get another degree.
So let's just lead into it.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be secondary education.
Okay. Look at us. We're trying to teach
I know,
and like, you know,
I know. But we pivoted because now we're both in roles where I think we both have some level of FaceTime, but it's not as much.
Yes. And I think
oh goodness. Which I do like. I like not having to deal with people all the time, because it was very draining.
Very draining,
especially with the hybrid workplace and trying to deal with people on Zoom and everything. Zoom fatigue is so real.
Yes,
so real.
100%. And I think that people need to, like, there's a certain age for everything. Like, you might be amped and happy and ready to go to be being like face-to-face with students and stuff like that, but you reach your late 20s and you're just like, this is not for me anymore. So I think it's important when you're picking a career too, like, yes, there's this, maybe you want to be an academic advisor, and honestly, or maybe you are the person that can do academic advising for the rest of your life. Like, you could be that person. I was just not. But like, I think it's good to still have backup plans. Like, all right, if in 5 years I don't want to be an advisor anymore, I don't want to have as many student facing interactions all day because I already feed into my friends, my family, my like whatever, marriage, kids, whatever you're in, and you want to pivot. I think it's good to have like backup options because, again, same person, like you were saying, I'm not the same person I was at 18 or at 21 or at 25, or you know what I'm saying? Like, so we're going to keep changing, and I think it's important to make sure you have a general field that you're passionate about that you can pivot and change. And just to talk on like pivoting a little bit, like we pivoted a lot, right? And we're not even 30 yet. We've pivoted a lot. So that goes to say, just because you are passionate about something at 18 or at 21, it's going to change, and it's okay if it changes. And like, don't feel distraught or like, oh my gosh, like I'm restarting, like everybody seems settled. Nobody knows what they're doing. Everybody's just figuring it out as they go. Nobody, like on the outside, everything can look peaches and cream and like butterflies, rainbows, but it's not, because I might seem like I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Nobody knows what they're doing. Everyone's just trying to do their best day by day to figure it out. So just take your time.
Yeah, and I would also say job hopping is becoming common, so don't feel like you need to be tied down to a job or to an organization. I know some people say, I have loyalty to this company. I've been here for 5 years. They would drop you in a heartbeat if they had to. They would lay you off. They would do what they need to do. If you were hurt, they would replace you in 0.2 seconds. That job would be on the job board yesterday. So just prioritize yourself. Don't give these jobs all of your energy, all of your time. Of course, do good work. And I would also say at the same time, if that is your thing and you do want to be somewhere long term, you know, I know society is very much so, you need to be on to the next thing, or you need to be doing influencing, or you need to be doing X, Y, and Z. And it's okay if you're okay with the 9 to 5.
Yes, that is.
And you're okay with that stability, because it is stability. There is more job security in some senses, and you know, benefits and healthcare and stuff like that that you may not get if you are hustling and have your own business or influencing or whatever the case. Or maybe if you want to know how much is coming in your paycheck every you know, week or other week, as opposed to, wow, I didn't get any brand deals, you know, this week or something like that. That may be stress or anxiety inducing for some. So I would say forge your own path. Don't pay attention to whatever is happening, you know, on the outside. Okay, so story time. When I was doing counseling, I had a student who they wanted to like quit their studies so that they could go into being an influencer. And of course, you know, I wanted to be validating and all of that, but I also wanted to be realistic too of, okay, well, do you have, you know, a platform with adequate subscribers? Have you had consistency with making money, you know, on YouTube or TikTok or whatever the case? And the answers were no. So I'm also wondering if influencers or just people in general, yes, people are setting the next generation up to not be successful or to be disappointed, because I would love to say that everyone's gonna be, you know, the next influencer. I would love to say that I want to see everyone win, and also I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but it's also not realistic too for everybody. Exactly. I would love for it to be that way, but it's just not realistic. So I also struggle with seeing that too.
Yeah. I think there definitely has been a shift from like traditional bachelor's, master's degree and stuff like that. I genuinely think it's because they're just like discouraged. Like they see people, their older siblings or family members go to college, get a master's degree, and they're making 40K. And you go and they're just like, okay, so, and they're in like who knows how much, like loans and debt and stuff like that. And they're just like, you know, why am I going to school to be in this much debt and not make money when these influencers or people buy a vending machine and they're making 20K a month? It's like, you know what, there's a lot of lies in between it because they want you to buy their course. But I think it's the course. They want you to buy their, I promise you.
Why is it always a course?
It's always a course, and they will always make money from it. I'm not saying all of it is scam. I'm sure like the vending machine business is like, you know, you can make money from it. Digital marketing, you can make money. Like all these things you can make money from it. But I think they're just not being transparent in the process, because it's not overnight. Like, where are you getting the money to buy these vending machines? Where are you putting it? How are you going to make money from it? Who's keeping it in like, I promise you, these people have been working for 5 years or whatever, or like a good amount of time, and then eventually they made money, or even like these people are telling you to quit your 9-to-5 jobs. I promise you they start off with a 9-to-5 job, saved money, and then use that money to go into their business. But the way they're putting it on TikTok is just like, oh yeah, like I bought one last night, and then like tomorrow or next week I'm making 10K. Buy my course, I'll show you how to do it. And then even when you take the course, they're not going to give you all of their secrets. Why would they do that? They're going to start losing their profit. So I think no one is discouraging you from trying to be an influencer, trying to be an artist, trying to like be in these creative spaces outside of a 9-to-5. I just think that it's important, like Brandy said, to be realistic and have a plan for it.
Yeah,
so like
it's all about a plan.
It's all about a plan. So you have a 9-to-5, right? Work your 9-to-5 to keep your money. Have something on the side. Yes, it might take sacrifice, it might take time and stuff like that, but at least you have something to stand on while like you're trying to build your business. And then once your business is built and you're making money, quit. Yeah, go ahead, quit. Like, or on the other end too, if you're at your parents' place or you're at a spot where you don't need to spend money on bills and everything, okay, then don't work. That's fine. Like, work a part-time job, focus on your business, but also be realistic. You've been working at this business for 2 years. Are you making any revenue? Have you made any progress? And when I say that, I don't mean like, oh, I made, like, did I make 100K by the year? No, like maybe you started off making 1,000 a month, or maybe 500 a month, even 200 a month, right?
Yeah,
that's fine. But by the end of the year, are you still at $200 a month, or have you gone up to like a little bit more? Have you changed your strategy? How have you been marketing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how are you setting yourself up for success, essentially? Because they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again. Like, nobody's gonna come and save you. No one's just gonna bout your business really quick and everything. Like, yes, get in these creative spaces, do your thing and everything. And at the same time to be realistic,
absolutely,
and how you're going to do it, and just recognize that these people on TikTok, they have already made their money, and now they're just trying to make some more money from you by buying their course with your idea of thinking, oh, you're going to be able to make some money once you do this course, when it's actually years, months of work of people putting in effort and stuff like that. So just have a plan of progress, and even if the progress is slow, progress is progress nonetheless. Like, don't give up on your goals, don't like do these things, but like Brandy said, not everyone's going to be an overnight influencer. Be realistic. Maybe you can be an influencer with hard work and dedication, but remember the hard work and dedication, and nothing in life is simple and easy and you can just make money like tomorrow. Like, they're the get rich quick schemes. Unless you're robbing a bank, there's no get rich quick scheme. Like, it takes time, effort, or connections. If you have connections, then never mind. Like, you meet Bill Gates tomorrow, you go for it. But I mean, it doesn't matter. But
and some people do blow up overnight too. But I think it's important to flesh out a plan, like you said, be realistic too. And also, not all the courses are a scam. I think if you're going to invest in a course, invest in a course that's going to teach you a skill rather than someone's process. Because what worked for someone else may not work for you. Maybe they had someone who was able to invest in their project, or whatever the case is, or had, you know, different resources. I would say focus on building the skills to set you up for success, rather than trying to follow the steps of someone's process, because it may have worked for them and it may not work for the next person. So build up on the skills that are going to set you apart, because those are things that can be taught and that you can like elevate on.
Yes, 100%. Like, that is true. Not all courses are a scam. I have taken courses before, but like you said,
a lot are.
No, a lot of them are scams. And I think it's when they're giving you, when they're advertising to catch scams, like, I think you need to see what they're putting on their page. If every single one of their posts is like, oh, I made 10K in 2 days, 10K in 2 days, like, oh, look at me, I made 10K. Like, if that's all they're saying, they have nothing to say to you. Like, they're not giving you nuggets or pieces of information that like actually work. Don't do it. No course should be $500, like $1,000. Like, buy a course for $100 max and follow their content, read their comments, see who's actually made, because people on TikTok are blunt. Like, don't just see the TikTok and just go. Read the comments, do research on the topic, see what actual like helpful information they've given. Try the helpful information that's given. Has it actually worked? Like, did it work for you? And if it does, and you feel like this person is trustworthy, then buy something small. Like, rather than buying their $100 course, they always split it up. Like, buy one that's $20. Try out that method, see if it works for you. Like, so if it's, for example, digital marketing, I know that's like a big one. Okay, learn about the industry, learn about how you market, learn about how these people make the money before you go and buy a course of people just giving you generic information that you can just Google really quick, because a lot of them do that. They're like, this is digital marketing, this is how we make money from digital marketing, sell a digital marketing product, go. And you're like,
what's unique here? Or maybe like a one-on-one consultation is better. Those are good. But it sounded really personal when you were talking about the the scams, like the 10K.
No, literally, I'm telling you, it's just 10K, 10K, 10K. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, 10K. And then I take a course and I'm just like, I'm glad I only spent $50 because if I spent more, I would have been very annoyed.
Upset.
Like, or I've heard of people saying, or people on like Reddit and stuff like that, just like sharing their experience and everything. And I just think it's terrible to say that you've made money putting in a certain amount of work, but you've actually just been exploiting people to take your course, and that's how you've been making your money. So all in all, we're trying to say, be creative, but have a plan.
Yeah.
If you just want a 9 to 5, have a 9 to 5. You are not less than for not being an entrepreneur. Whatever you are content with is what you are content with, and stay there. And then just to talk about like feeling disappointment from parents and like family and stuff like that. If you are someone going into a creative space, you will probably not get support. Just being real, they will say how you're gonna make money from everything. I say continue doing it. If you're passionate about it, if you love it, keep doing it, even if your parents or family members are not behind it, because it's something you love doing. Like, I have my fashion on TikTok. I've been doing it for what, 2 years at this point. I haven't blown up with like 700,000 followers or whatever, but I enjoy fashion. I enjoy doing it. And that is why I'm going to continue doing it, because I enjoy it. And I hope it's fruitful one day.
Yeah.
But, and at the same time too, if it's not, I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket if it isn't. So I know we want to please our parents and everything, but never put yourself down or things you love down in order to make other people happy, or you're just gonna regret it or project it onto future people in hate, in jealousy, and whatever, because you're hiding a part of yourself to make someone else happy, and you're not happy because of that.
And tap into those creative outlets or skills. And I'll stand by this. Your parents, and Haitian parents especially, they will support you and have your back when you become successful. When they see you start making the money, when they see it all come together, they're gonna be like, oh yes, that's my child, or whatever the case is. But you know, maybe they weren't rooting for you through the process, so stick it out, and not focus on that validation from your parents, because at the end of the day, this is your life. You have to stick behind the choices that you make, your decisions, your job. This is how you're going to be spending your day-to-day. What do you want that to look like? And of course, your parents are coming from a good place. They want you to be secure. They want you to be successful. And at the same time, life isn't the same as it was when they were their age.
Shoot, we can't buy a house.
It's
not easy to buy a house.
You know,
So, like,
you could be, you know, it was just like nursing, medical field. That's what's secure. That's what's always going to be there. And times are changing. Now you can be, you know, marketing director and be making like hundreds of thousands more. So don't focus too much on what other people have to say.
Because they, like, your parents, family, yes, they're looking out for you. They want you to have something secure and everything, but just because it's secure doesn't mean that it's for you. And you don't have to follow that path. Like, we want to make our parents happy. Like, some people, they want the traditional, oh, you get married before you move out, and then once you move out, then like you have kids, and then like that chain does not work for everybody, and you're not a failure because you don't follow it. And like Brandy said, if you follow your own path and you're passionate about it and you start making money, they literally will support you. They might talk trash along the whole way, but once you get there, they will support you and they will have your back. So you never want to live with the regret of what if. Just try it. Try new things, creative or not creative. You're not a failure for doing 9 to 5. You're not a sheep for doing 9 to 5. I've heard that too, like, oh, you're just a sheep. Like, you don't have to turn all of your passions into entrepreneurship. Not everything needs to be a business. And a passion can just stay a passion. It does not need to be a business, because also that translates into burnout, into you having something you enjoy turn into work, and you never want that to happen.
That's so real.
Just, you gotta just take things one thing at a time. Like, yes, taking information from TikTok and like all these platforms and everything, but there is such thing as information overload. Just take things that apply to you and make sense, but don't feel the pressure of having to start a business and go to school and do all these things. Because for me personally, as somebody who tried to do everything and burned out severely, you don't want to be at that point. Like, you don't have to do everything at the same time. It's okay to, like, it's important for you to rest. You have your whole life ahead of you. I know that, like, you might be 21, you might be just entering high school, you might be in your job right now, and you're just waiting for a point to get everything together and perfect and everything. But ultimately, life is going to take its time. You're going to get to where you need to be when you need to get there. So there's no reason to rush and try to force things and like really stress yourself out, because it's going to happen at the time it needs to happen, and you trying to do everything at the same time is not going to make it happen quicker. So or it might happen quicker and you're gonna have severe mental health setbacks because of it.
As a result, yeah. And I would also say on that point too is like, if you are in a 9-to-5, you don't always have to be the manager either. It's okay. I've been in managerial roles and non-managerial roles, and to be honest, sometimes you don't want the stress of being a manager or all of that extra work or whatever the case is. So do what works best for you. You can still be successful in a non-managerial role, and maybe that's more sustainable for you. So
yeah, you can always move up and find a career, and you don't need to necessarily be a manager for it. They might lie to you and say, no, you only can be a supervisor to make X amount. No, I know plenty of people that are in the 100Ks and they don't supervise nobody. So like, you can find that career. I wish I had examples for you. I don't, but I promise you there are plenty of them. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, comments, want to send an email out for ideas, feel free to send it unspokentransitions@gmail.com, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Bye.